You go bow for the result, though. Nothing to discuss, oh. Cause I did by default and without any doubt, though. I'm a me happy adult, though. I no go feed the girl.
Welcome, the randoms. So you already know what time it is. It's story time, you guys, and I post every Tuesday and Thursday. Let's get into these stories. Story number 1. Am I the a-hole for asking my fiance to board our dog while I'm recovering from surgery? I need to start off by saying that I love dogs. I've always had dogs, and to me, dogs are family. They are and deserve everything. That being said, I am starting to feel frustrated at my fiance's dedication to our dog's needs compared to mine. As a bit of background, my fiance has a very reactive pit bull. She is so loving and sweet to her people, but she's a handful. Super high energy, and trying to train her reactivity is non-stop. But I really love her, and she's part of the family. When my fiance and I decided to move in together, I made the decision to have my dog, a husky, go live with my parents. My dog is extremely timid, and that personality with a reactive pit bull would never work, especially sharing a home. It would be way too stressful for both of them. It was a really hard choice, but I knew it was for the best, and my parents adore her. I'm so grateful to them for taking her, and while I miss her terribly, she's halfway across the country now, and it was the best choice for her well-being. But since moving in, I've realized how much of a priority my fiance's dog is. Again, not an issue. And I love the way he cares for her, but my needs are often pushed aside for her. Everything revolves her and how she's feeling. If she's extra clingy that day, we don't go anywhere, even if we had plans. It's only slightly bothered me until recently when he told me to get a hotel after a surgery that I am having in a few weeks to recover because it would be too much to take care of me and the dog. I'm having a pretty invasive surgery and will need to be pretty low-key for a few days. I was nervous about this because the pity always jumps on me whenever I enter a room and plays pretty aggressively. I asked my fiance if we should board her for the next few days just to have things a bit calmer. He travels a lot for work and boards her when he does, so she's very used to boarding. He was immediately shocked that I would ask that, saying that he would never board her unnecessarily. However, he has done so in the past when he has a big work event or needs to focus on something, even when he's in town. His reasoning this time is that he will be boarding her for a few days before my surgery for a work trip, and then again a week later for another work trip, so he won't have much time with her. He said that he wants her to be home as much as possible and instead suggested that I get a hotel room to recover. I know that his dog is his first priority, but the fact that he would prefer that I recover in a hotel is really bothering me. Maybe I'm just being selfish and jealous of the dog, but at some point I would love to be the priority or have my needs somewhat considered. Am I being the a-hole for feeling this way and for asking that he board the dog? Or am I just being jealous of a dog? Let me hold your hand while I say this, okay? I feel like the fact that he's ready to just put you in a hotel room, especially after surgery, y'all have bigger problems, okay? Yes, I do understand that his dog is a huge priority to him, right? Because, you know, your pet is your family. But at the same time, this is your fiance. You're his family too. And then my thing is, y'all will be married soon, or at least in a few years. What if you get pregnant? Like, is the baby gonna come first, or is it gonna be the dog still? And then on top of that, like after you have a baby, are you gonna have to go to a hotel? I don't know. I just feel like that's a lot of red flags. If I was you, I would definitely put myself first, okay? And just go and see if you could go to family, you know, and they help you through the surgery and stuff like that. But in that whole relationship, that's no. Because I feel like that's not husband behavior. You know what I mean? Story number 2. Am I the a-hole for telling my neighbor to stop thinking she is the only one who can do it all? I am most likely the a-hole. But parents who think that they are the only ones who can keep the world going tend to drive me crazy. A little background. I, 47 male, have had issues with this one neighbor before when she told me that my house gives her anxiety, and I have been trying to just avoid her in general. After this one incident, I have just avoided her at all costs, and if there is anything we need to talk about, It goes through the parents' email system through the school. There's a school banquet coming up soon, and I have volunteered a couple of times for it. I forgot it was coming up, so naturally I didn't say anything. She stopped over the other day to see if I was interested this year. From the past experiences, my house was in a midweek state, so kind of organized chaos. She said that she was at another parent's house a couple of houses down from us, so she felt it was just easier to just stop over than to email. I guess it could be believable. She asked about the banquet, and I looked at the calendar and saw that my stepson was going to be gone for that weekend. So I told her no, I was not going to be helping, and that I was actually relieved because there is a lot that we have going on right now. This should have been the end of it, right? Neighbor started on her own tangent about everything she does to manage her house, and that involves managing all the kids' events and how she does it all herself with no help. I don't know why she told me all this. I told her, and these were my exact words.
Well, good for you. I'm lucky because in this household, we all pull together and help one another out. My husband, stepson, and myself, we all share the house responsibilities. Maybe enlist your husband and kids to do the same. It might help free up some time.
She looked at me like I had a third eyeball and told me nobody knows how to organize the family like she does. I told her, well, that was her own fault for making it so that nobody could live up to her standards. She didn't really like that answer. I told her I needed to get my own stuff done and she needed to go. I am now the public enemy number one among the school moms, which is no big deal to me. It's just a giant clique. But from what I heard earlier, I'm an a-hole for not understanding what it's like to be a parent these days. This is funny. Last I knew, I had 3 stepkids, one of which lives with me and my husband full time. So am I the a-hole for telling the parent to stop trying to do it all? No, if anything, like you were literally trying to give her some type of like feedback on how to make her life easier. Like, why would you want to be the only person in the household doing everything? What kind of brag is that? No, you're not an a-hole. If she just want to keep doing everything herself, let her do that, okay? Story number 3. Am I the a-hole for not meeting my father's mistress? I, 25 male, moved into a townhome with my partner in May 2024. It's an exciting step, more space than our old apartment, and it finally feels like we're settling down. We've had family visit, but it took some time for my father. My dad and I have always had a rough relationship. He blames me for it and was especially, I don't know what all I can say on YouTube, but basically he didn't like the fact that he was dating another guy when I came out on Easter. No one on his side said anything and he ignored me for a week. When we finally talked, he called it a phase and suggested I see a priest to understand the blank impulses. It took a lot of pushing before he even agreed to meet my partner, and even then, he insisted my partner use our cellar entrance so he wouldn't have to be on the same floor as my partner. On my birthday in 2022, my parents announced their divorce. After opening presents, we had a family meeting without our partners, where my dad went on a tangent about my mom, blaming her for not putting out and calling her fat. He still insisted he'd stay for the family. The next month, he tried to play the family man, all while secretly seeing someone else. He claimed that he started seeing his mistress after my parents were separated, though his timeline didn't add up. My twin sisters met his mistress first in 2023 when they stopped by his house. My other sister met her in late 2024 when he showed up at her house with the mistress waiting in the car. She felt pressured to meet her on his terms. Then in November, he was in Baltimore for a Ravens game and asked to see my townhome. I said sure, but when I checked my Ring camera, I saw that he'd brought the mistress. I called and told him I wasn't comfortable meeting her yet. He got irritated, saying it's been 2 years and I should get over it. He also guilt-tripped me about being so welcoming to others, but not to her. I reminded him of how he treated my partner, and I compared to my sisters and their partners. He turned it on me, saying I don't do enough for our relationship and that the ball's in my court. I just repeated that I wasn't ready and hung up. They left and I felt guilty. I'm a people pleaser and I struggle with standing up for myself. My sisters all met her under pressure, and he rewards that with frequent calls and visits. A few weeks later, he finally visited alone just to tell me he was moving to North Carolina with her. Since our family is in Philadelphia, it'll be long distance, though I doubt I'll notice a change. He says he'll come back for holidays, so I wished him well. In this situation, no, you are not the a-hole. And honestly, I would be done with your dad, because it's just like, first off, he acted a certain type of way about your partner. And I get we all got our own opinions. I do get that. But I feel like when you love your child, like, you put their needs and their wants before your own. You know what I mean? Even if you don't agree with everything that they may want to do. You know what I mean? Especially the person that they chose or whatever. But still, that's your child. And then the fact of, like, a mistress. So you cheated on my mom and you want me to meet her? Man, you crazy. Like, honestly, I would have just straight up told him, hey, I love you and I wish y'all well in North Carolina, but I can't deal with the stress. And I'm not gonna deal with being put in a situation I'm not comfortable in. I'm not saying cut your dad off, because he is your dad. I get that. But it's like, at the same time, you can love people from a distance. And he's already moving anyway. So, hey. I hope you guys love these stories, and also don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Comment down below, let me know your thoughts, and also share this video with your friends and your family. I hope that y'all been having wonderful weeks, months, years, all that. And I will see y'all in the next video. And I hope you're having a wonderful day.